Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I conduct work life video interviews with the career professionals that become an all intuitive conversation. Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I encourage individuals to live smart and ascend to new levels of work life success. So today, I have the pleasure of connecting with Karen. So let's bring her to the screen. Aloha, Karen.
Aloha.
How are you today?
I am doing awesome. And yourself?
I am doing well. I am doing really well. So, this is the first time we are actually getting to talk on camera. And I know you were kind of scheduled to be a guest before, but I know you had a family situation and we had to reschedule. But as I always say, it's always divine timing of when I am talking to someone as a guest on the show. So, I look forward to learning more about you.
Thank
So,
you.
tell me, where are you?
I am in Sarasota, Florida.
Sarasota, Florida. Okay, so are you born and raised there?
No, I was actually born and raised in Buffalo, New York, but I only lived there for a couple of months. So lived in Massachusetts for many years and traveled after that, moved around with family, and then ended up down here in Florida for about 40 years now.
Oh, wow. Okay. So yes, you have definitely adapted because I'm thinking Florida and Massachusetts cold. Florida, what-
Lifestyle, yep.
yes, Florida is warm. Um,
Excuse me.
so today, Karen, I had a great start. And so my husband and I went for a walk today. And as we were walking back and getting close to my house, I was drawn to a piece of paper that was on the ground. And I'm not the type of person to just pick stuff off of the ground. But I also know that when I usually am going to meet with a guest on the show, that I take nothing for granted as far as what there may be a message. And
Absolutely.
so the piece of paper that was on the ground was a fortune cookie piece of paper. So, like I said, this is the middle of the sidewalk street. And it says, be patient. The Great Wall didn't get built in one day. So the question that's coming through that's connecting me with you is tell me about a time where you have to be patient.
Many, 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 many times during my life. But I think the most patient time as of late was last January. I had a major accident down in Costa Rica. Didn't speak the language, and I had major surgery as a result of it. And
Wow.
I just getting home, it was like, how am I going to get home? I couldn't walk. And it was like patience. But the word that came up for me more than patience was surrender. But it was a combination of the two for sure. 'Cause you can't change what is. And how are you going to, how am I going to respond to it rather than react to it was the immediate. So it took patience.
Wow. Well, I am glad that you're healed and you're sitting here and talking with me today.
Yeah, thank you.
So between that, I immediately placed that because when I started, two cars immediately came out here, and there's this gentleman on this horse, and his hair is just flowing, just going free with life, and just going. And here's what it says on the card: romantic, flirtatious, introspective, fickle, falling in love, being swept off your feet, a sudden love affair, a lack of balance in relationship, situation, or topics that make your heart flutter, a love of art and poetry.
Mm.
They also have this other gentleman that came out here that's playing poker. He just had this big win. And here's what it says on his card: it says, an unwise choice. There is a better way that will make you happier. Avoid people who lack integrity or who have questionable motives. So it is the opposite. Like one is flirtatious, come and attracted to me. have this whole adventure, and then this other one's kind of like, I don't know, I may take something like from you, separation from the life. So questions kind of coming through is decisions. Tell me a little bit more about how you make your life decisions.
Well, it's ironic that card with the horse came up because I had a horse accident down in Costa Rica. That's what
Oh my gosh.
I wasn't with a
Yes.
guy. I was by the horse was male, but not that that was. But yeah, I went flying off a horse in Costa Rica.
There it
Um,
is. Uh-huh.
yeah, but how I make my decisions. I'm very intuitive as well.
Mm-hmm.
I get still. I really get still and I pause and everything is cause and effect. So what's going to be the highest best good for me and
Mm-hmm.
really get tap into it. Is this coming from my head, the ego, or is this coming from my heart? So I tap into my heart and then make it from there.
Mm, okay. So how did you get to that point where you trust your intuition? Because not everybody gets there.
I I've always been intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
So, just growing up, with a knowingness around me, I never really doubted it. Well, I take that back. I doubted it. I made some poor decisions that and it's not but and they took me to where I am today. So there's no regrets in the decision. I could
Mm-hmm.
have made wiser choices at the time that I wasn't following it and I was in my head and leading by that. When I'm really in the space of intuitiveness. I had a near death experience in my 20s. And when I came back, I just knew that I felt that people who had near death experiences
Mm-hmm.
had a higher purpose anyway. And I just trusted it and I started following it ever since. And that was in my 20s. I'm, a little older than that now. So I just follow it all the time and trust that I'm being guided and guarded. So
Well, indeed, it was interesting, like I said, because that was the car. It was just this whole
yeah.
unwise decisions. But then the next one that I was connected with here, it has to do with crow energy. And this is the picture of this other animal, but then there's this raven that's there, or crow, that is, as they say, exposed. And so I'm being led to read this. It says, alone and unprotected. So that just goes back to that. It's just like the last word you just said. It's like you're protected now. It says the fledgling is vulnerable to attack, which again, you are no longer that. It said exposed may indicate you're being thrust into the spotlight and potentially not in a good way, depending on the circumstances. As a result, you may feel helpless and fear possible criticism. Exposed may also point to an open and free opportunity for the taking, as there will not be much in the way of opposition. Exposed speaks to the feelings that surface as a result of feeling vulnerable. Are you comfortable putting yourself out there? Does facing criticism cause you to freeze up? What opportunities have you possibly missed because of fear or being seen? Exposed may also present itself as a call to examine your situation more carefully as a piece of vulnerable information is becoming clearer. Something or someone may expose their flaws or weaknesses, and this may provoke to be a beneficial information in the future. Um, so you're an empowerment coach. Tell me more about that.
Well, it started off in nursing,
Mm-hmm.
and as a child, it was one of those situations where I felt like I was here to be seen, not heard, which does a number on your self-esteem and self-worth. And then fast forward into nursing, I would always question the doctors, like, why are you sending these people home with these scripts? You're not getting to the root cause, you're masking it. So what I did was I just was led to quantum physics, neuroscience, spirituality, and it just what kept going on from there. And I started really questioning, there's got to be a better way. There's got to, as a creative problem solver, I'm always looking for solutions that are outside of the box, realizing there is no box. And so what I do now is I empower others to look beyond look
Mm-hmm.
look within themselves because the answers are all there.
Well, it's because, like I said, the card that came out here has to deal with the solar plexus in yellow, and the theme says revelation. Excuse me, evolution. And the trigger says things will never change. But the true statement says, I attract only what is for my highest good. The imbalances in relationships that have been keeping you down are no longer needed. You are ready to transform. Um, so tell me about your friendships. How do you what are they like?
Mostly family.
Mhm.
My dearest, closest people are extended family. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I grew up with a fractured family. Divorce was there. I went through a divorce. So everybody since then has been pretty adopted. I have adopted mom. I have adopted sisters and brothers and sons and daughters, and I treat them as family. So very close.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay, so the family relationship, because that's like one of those key things that people kind of talk about, like what does family mean. And it's like the thing that's running through here is going back to this first card here, and then when
Yeah,
I'm noticing you were in a horse accident, which you said, now I'm just realizing, isn't your logo a horse?
it is. And that's all about my logo's all about integrity. I I actually my horse got struck. I had two horses that were struck by lightning here in Florida. And the chances, yeah, the chances, the chances of that happening are 1 in a million. Well, I had two. So my spiritual mentor during my journeying and educating myself on world religions, because I was looking for something outside of myself, not realizing that I had it within back in the day after my divorce. And the first horse passed, and he was my heart. The second one got struck by lightning, Truman, and he's still alive. Uh, but I wanted a logo to represent, if you look at the flames, right? This would be the flames from the lightning strike. And
Yes.
because well, at the end of the nose, over there, at the end
Is
of the
that a
nose,
butterfly?
butterfly. Butterflies for me are all about transformation, and empowerment is all about transformation, transforming. And my spiritual mentor looked at me and she said, Karen, when are you going to look up the meaning of lightning strikes? I mean, not just once, but twice. And I said, because I'm intuitive and I already know what it means. And she started laughing. She says, okay, like, when are you going to own it? And I'm like, I'm not ready to own it. And she looked at me and started laughing. And I went, all right, I'll step into it. And if you look up the spiritual meaning of lightning, it's all about being a light or a messenger in the world. So I've been doing that ever since. And that was probably back in 2007, 8, something like that. And I've been owning it. And that's how I show up in the world today. So I hired somebody to do my logo, and the gentleman plagiarized it. He came back to me, and instead of making him wrong, I went back to him and I said, "Could you please find the artist? I really, really love it. It's like everything I want in my logo." And he disappeared. And I was able to find Jontu. He's out of Indonesia. He's an amazing artist. So I wrote him and I said, this is the situation. My horses got struck by lightning. This gentleman plagiarized it. And he came back with this beautiful letter. Thank you for sharing and keeping the integrity in. This is
Mm.
my gift to you. So this represents integrity for me. And that's what my core value is. So,
Wow. Wow, what a story and a connection. And the
yeah,
fact that and then of course going back here now, the whole at the bottom it says the love of art
yeah,
and poetry. So it's like it's all just kind of coming together. But what I want individuals to realize I'm pointing out is that you, in essence, kind of had, three traumatic traumas with horses. I mean, you fell off a horse and was injured, and then two of your horses are struck by lightning. And so you, like you said, it's just kind of like, and yet you still embrace that. And the thing that came here, it's like the card you had was Wanderlust, and Wanderlust is about traveling and going to see things. And then, like I said, you're going to Costa Rica and the horse. And the other one here is the Midas touch, and this is about how you can, everything that you kind of touch basically turns to gold. The whole alchemist type of
Right.
energy. So, how is it that as an empowerment coach, you're able to help others take, maybe challenging situations in their life and make it something beautiful, artwork?
Oh, well, exactly, artwork. Because for me, artwork, the essence of the horse, just to go back a step, the essence
Mhm.
of the horse is power, beauty, grace, and ease. I've embodied that. So
Yeah.
beauty, artwork, right? Beauty is one of my core values as well. And when I look at my individuals that I'm working with, I look for the beauty within them because we all have it. I don't care how much you think you're not beautiful or handsome or whatever, there is beauty within, no matter what. So I look for that essence, and then what I do is I bring it out in them because to thine own self be true. When you know yourself, you know others. When you know yourself, you know how a different level of communication. When you know yourself, you also know how to um, the word that comes up for me is flow through the system financially, health wise, relationally, well being, and so on and so forth. So everything is from the inside out. Communication emanates from within. And that was a quote that was downloaded to me in the Redwood Forest back in 2000. And I think it was 10. I was walking in the forest. It was just like, wow, where'd that come from? But I've been using it ever since. So.
Well, the next card that came out here is a hand mudra, and it's got leaves, which indicate trees and forest kind of energy. And
Yeah,
it's the IT mudra is dedicated to the goddess of all the worlds. Which, remember, go back here when we talk about the whole travel and wanderlust. And it
absolutely.
says this mudra has a settling order effect on all levels. A large part of life consists of reviewing and readjusting our thoughts, feelings, and attitudes according to our circumstances and our resources at any given time. This can be enjoyable. For the result of the reshuffle doesn't satisfy us, we can always try something new. So it goes back to, like I was just saying, it was like you took something that traumatizing, events, and you made it into something that was beautiful, the whole alchemy.
There's
Um,
a silver lining. There's always, if you look deeper, there's a lesson, there's a silver lining to everything. Even when I was laying there, not being able to move my lower body, there was a
mhm,
silver lining. It
that
was for me to find it.
indeed. So the next thing that's coming through is
Excuse me.
mhm, 3 years from now. What's Karen doing?
I see Karen on stages. I see Karen getting the message out there. Um, there's more books. I just got my last chapter yesterday. I'm another
Congratulations.
Thank you. I keep saying that I'm not going to do this anymore, and boom, there I am doing another one. So, it's always forward momentum for me. Traveling is definitely in there. I definitely have that wanderlust bug. I want, as long as I'm able, I might have metal rods in my body now, but I'm still keep on keeping on.
So I was having to hire. I was like, okay, what is the energy that Karen is sharing? And you got Kalima, facing fears. Have you ever heard of this goddess energy before?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay. Kali Ma is another one of those energies to where if you see certain images of her, you may just think like, oh wow, that she's really fierce and fearful. But here it's like facing fear, and it says major spiritual changes are unfolding. This is your chance to soar. And so it's just like how you're saying, where you're going to be doing, 3 years from now. And so here's what the message says. Fear is just energy, and energy can be changed. This can be an intense experience because the human self is so conditioned that it may be used to operating with fear present. When the fear is gone, it may feel as though an emptiness is there, but this is a space for love and miracles to enter. You are being filled with the courage of spirit now so that you can move from this phase of your life to the next. Trust the process and call on Kali Ma to help you release your fear and step into a space that's strong, focused, and courageous.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I'm like, how does that resonate with you, Karen?
Oh, absolutely. Because, just every experience builds on the past. And I really was surprised at myself actually down in Costa Rica when my accident happened because there was no fear. Even when they told me it wasn't looking great, I couldn't move. I could only move my big toe at the moment. And I'm walking now. I'm walking 30 minutes a day. And
Yes.
so it's like, who are you going to listen to? So fear is something we project on ourselves, but it doesn't have to be the truth. So when I was listening to the doctors and, in the broken Spanish English,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
was like, no, my body's healing. My body's healing. And I'm just believing in a higher power and I'm believing within myself that it's possible. And against all odds, I started walking within 6 months of the accident. So,
So that goes back to as we started. Remember when I said I found this while I was on a walk. And again, the continued message, chill, was be patient. The gray wall didn't get built in one day. So continue on this path that you're on. Take it one step at a time, getting better and better. And even if you get the frustration on the moment, just remembering where you came from in this experience here, but continue to flow, continue that, but just remember, be patient with yourself. You're like, oh, I only walked 30 minutes today versus you wanted to do an hour or whatever the case may be. Just continue to be patient with
absolutely.
yourself.
One foot in front of the other.
One foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
But Karen, thank you so much for being a guest on All Intuitive Conversation today.
Thank
So for
you.
the individuals that want to reach with you and connect with you on your journey, how can they reach you?
Yes. My website is www.tranquilsoul. Oops, wrong way. SOULUTIONS.com. Karen Rudolph is RUDOLF. A lot of people misspell both words. So just reiterating, it's RUDOLF. And
Yes.
Tranquil Soul, SOULUTIONS.com.
Awesome. If nothing else, look
I'm
for the horse. Look for
also,
the horse.
yeah, I'm all across social media, Facebook, all of that. So you can find me across all of the platforms. And when you reach out to me, you actually get me. Nobody else is answering but me. So feel free.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for those that have watched. I do hope you have been encouraged to live smart and ascend to new levels of work life success. And until we all meet again, this has been an all intuitive conversation.
Thank you.